let's talk about 2 different types of retainers and how long you should wear them. Well, before we get to that, remember, retainers are important to hold your teeth. You go through however long in treatment, orthodontic treatment, and I'm just talking about 1 phase at a time. I'm not combining like 2 phases, all right? Let's say you go through braces or Invisalign, and it takes like 1 to 2 years, maybe more. How do you keep the teeth where they need to stay? Retainers. They retain. The first type of retainer, can you guess what it is? It's a removable retainer. A removable retainer comes in 2 most common types. One is a Invisalign-like retainer. Now, Invisalign is a specific company, and they produce Invisalign retainers. But other providers that don't necessarily work with Invisalign, they may use other companies or in their own office. They may make clear plastic retainers that are molded to your teeth. And the objective of this retainer is to grab onto all the surfaces of the teeth that they are visible and hold the teeth where they're at. The other type of removable retainer is, we'll just call it the traditional retainer. A common name is also the Hawley retainer. Both of these types of retainers have been used for years and years and years in the orthodontic profession to hold the teeth, to retain the teeth. The traditional retainer, the one with the wire in the front, I almost pulled up this one. The one with the wire in the front and the metal on the side and the acrylic on the inside. Check out our other videos. This retainer is arguably more sturdy than the clear retainer, but there's no scientific evidence behind that. That's just opinions. You can adjust it, right? Because it has a metal wire. I mean, orthodontists are wire bending machine, and we can adjust those retainers if it gets a little loose and you try to make it tighter so that the fit remains consistent over time. But as I mentioned, there is a wire that goes in the front sometimes, and people aren't super excited about that, especially if they are wearing it all the time, which usually we haven't answered that question yet. How long do we have to wear it? Not there yet. Hang in there. The clear retainer, people love this one because it's just clear, right? They're worried about the cosmetics. Arguably, this is not as durable. It's plastic, it's a little more flexible. Although some of the plastics that they use can be more rigid. And if they're rigid and you're having to crank it out, sometimes you know, and this can happen to the other traditional retainers too, is whenever you're taking the retainers out, it can put pressure on the retainers and cause them to crack in different spots. So you don't want it to be too tight. It makes it too hard to get it out, and then you're looking at a broken retainer. Both of these types of removable retainers are effective, okay? That's important to know. When you're choosing between the 2, they both can be effective. Ooh, one thing that's interesting about these types of retainers, generally speaking, is that they go around all of the teeth. That means if you have teeth from here to here, this retainer, either one of these retainers can be designed to include or retain all of the teeth. A natural side effect of braces and Invisalign, whenever you line up teeth, is the teeth tend to spread out, so you get that big, broad Hollywood smile. These types of retainers, removable ones, can be designed to hold all of those teeth out and try to keep all of those teeth straight. So that's a plus. And of course, one of the reasons why people like this is because you can take them in and out. It's fantastic. And so you can clean really well, or at least you should. Compliance is key though for these. If you're not gonna wear them, hint, hint, anyways. That is the first major type of retainer. A lot of people get this removable, one of the 2 removable kinds of retainers. Before we get to the other major type of retainer, remember that retainers are important. And if you haven't been wearing your retainer, I hope this inspires you to wear it. So, how long do you have to wear a removable retainer? Can you guess? For as long as you want to keep your teeth straight. Yeah, that pretty much means forever. The second major type is a fixed type of retainer, aka the permanent retainer. Yes, there's different variations of the permanent retainer, just like you can have different variations of the removable retainer. It gets glued in behind, sometimes the wire's a little different shape or different materials used as a fixed retainer. And you can check out our other videos. Glued-in retainers can sometimes, or typically, they don't reach past the canines on top or bottom. Usually that's the tooth that's furthest in the back. The removable retainer can grab onto all of the teeth, help keep things really wide in the back. That happens to be one of the downfalls, in my opinion, of the glued-in retainer. It only holds the front. And so over time, our cheek pressure, it may push, even with really good tongue posture, you may see that those teeth on the sides, in the back, naturally narrow because you don't have a retainer back there. One of the major pluses though of the permanent retainer, that's why parents love this, is because it gets glued in. The kids don't have to remember it. You don't have to remember it. If you're worried about compliance, this is the way to go. Also, if you have spaces to begin with, a lot of people have this little central space here, and that's part of the reason why they're trying to go through braces or Invisalign. They're closing the spaces, and getting something glued in behind those teeth keeps the spaces closed 24/7. That is a fantastic thing to do. If you have spaces and you try to use one of the removable retainers like this, and you don't have the glued in kind, or excuse me, the fixed kind, the permanent retainer, then what you may notice if you're not wearing this as regularly, that space opens up. Scary. The tricks about the fixed retainer though, cleaning, besides the narrowing, the possible narrowing, is the cleaning. Dentists freak out about this all the time. And you know, I understand why. It's hard to get underneath there and, you know, brush and floss so you can get some buildup. But note this, that glued in retainers, assuming that you are making efforts to keep your teeth clean and visit your dentist, the fixed retainers have not been shown through scientific study to cause cavities or significant periodontal disease, which is gum disease. How long do you need to wear this fixed retainer? Did you guess? For as long as you want to keep your teeth straight. We used to think, and you're like, whoa, it's the same thing. And the answer is, yes, it is. Whether you have a removable retainer or a fixed retainer, if you want to keep your teeth straight long-term, you need a retainer. It may not be the same retainer, you may have to get a new retainer, but if you want your teeth to stay straight, you've got to have a retainer. That, at least, is the most predictable way to prevent significant tooth movement. What we've learned over time through scientific study and understanding human development and change over time is that our faces continue to change as we age. And so the teeth adapt to the new pressures of the cheeks, the muscles, the bones, all these different things that are changing. The teeth move to adapt. And so retainers are important to hold that position if you want to keep them straight. So don't let anybody fool you and tell you that you can take out the retainer. You don't need to have it anymore because your teeth are going to move. I'm not even talking about the dentists. Some of those guys want to get those glued fixed retainers out, and you just need to say, well, what are you going to put in there instead? Because my orthodontist, or this guy I know online, this famous YouTuber, says that I need to have a retainer for as long as I want to keep my teeth straight. Okay, there you have it. The answer to the important question about how long do you need to wear your retainers. Hopefully this was helpful. If you are considering orthodontic treatment and by necessity, retainers to hold that treatment, come find us. We're in McKinney and Texas, or share this with your friends so they can come find us. But if not, consider subscribing to the channel, like this video so that I can open your eyes, continue to open your eyes to the wonderful world of straight teeth and beautiful bites. That's all I've got, just a little P.F. Owen so you know where you're going. Packard out.